So here we've got another word problem. I'm going to help get us started on this word problem, and then I'm going to let you guys try some of it at the end. This time I did not give you the equation, so we have to write the equations. That's what I'm going to do to get us started. We want to we want our equation that represents the current salary, S, after X years of employment. So S is going to be in the place of Y for this problem. And let's see, the starting salary is $50,000. So the starting salary is $50,000. Starting makes me think that's the y-intercept, because the y-intercept is what we're starting with, or is the initial amount. And increase makes me think of slope. So the slope is $1,200. So we are going to write the equation. Remember, it's in the form y equals mx plus b. Instead of y, though, they want me to use s. If you don't use the letters that are written out on WebAssign, they'll mark the whole thing wrong, and that can get really frustrating. And on any written homework or stuff that I grade, you'll get a point taken off. So you would get partial credit, just not all the way. Now I'm going to use this equation as we go through and work the other parts of the problem. And just like with all the videos, pause these as much as you need to write down notes, to catch up, rewind, and re-listen. That's the good thing about videos, is you can rewatch and re-listen if you miss something. Now, we haven't talked about domain and range since we were in class together, right? So I'll do these parts. I'm going to have you do D and E. The domain are the X values. So in this case, X is the number of years. So when we start a job, that's year 0. And it tells me we're going to retire after 40 years. And I knew this was the domain because the domain are the X values. These are going to be brackets. We saw some of these when we actually met together where we're writing. We said you could be in year 0, you could be in year 40, so those would be brackets. Now for the range. The range are the Y values. So one shortcut is to say, well, the initial Y value, the y-intercept, the starting, is 50,000. So you could just go ahead and write that one out. If you didn't see that, that's okay. You didn't have to. You can kind of not take the shortcut. We're going to plug in 0, and then we're going to plug in 40. So we're going to plug in twice. So I'm going to plug in 0. If I type that in my calculator, I get out that 50,000. Again, if you saw the shortcut, you didn't have to plug in 0. That y-intercept is the starting, that's the beginning y amount. Now I'm going to plug in 40. I'll plug 40 into my equation. That gets me out $98,000. So that's my ending amount. So that's my range. Now D and E are very similar here to the C and D we did on that last page of the notes. They're not always in the same order, so don't always assume the easy way comes first. We usually on the written homework or GCA will flip one of them. But do be on the lookout for one hard and one easy for all of these word problems. And the same will be true for the test as well. You'll have an easy one and a hard one. So what I want you to do is pause the video and see if you can work these guys out. One of these, you just have to plug in a number, type in your calculator, you're done. That's the easy one. That's like C right here, the easy one. And then one's going to be the harder way, D, down here, where you have to solve for a variable. So pause the video and see if you can give this D and E a shot. All right, let's see how you did with these. And if you haven't tried them, you know when we are in class, I'll walk around, see everyone's doing, so really and truly give it a shot before you watch any more of the video. So I want to know what my salary would be in 15 years. X is years. So this is the easy way. I'm just going to plug in 15 for X in this equation that I made in step A. And my answer is 68,000. That means the next one's the hard way. I'm given money. So I'm going to have to put that in for the place of salary. and I'm going to have to do some algebra to solve for x. You cannot just guess and check. You can't just keep plugging things in until you get the right answer. All right, like you've got to actually show the algebra work. So I'm going to subtract 50,000. Then I'm going to divide by 1,200. Remember, you can pause these if you need to catch up on writing. This comes out to a pretty weird answer. I know it doesn't say in the directions. If you ever get something like this and you're not sure what to round to in directions, feel free to ask me. I'm just going to round to 2 decimal places real quick. Let me just double check this because it was kind of weird on here. Let me just double check on my calculator. Yep, so 8-3. That technically has a bar over the 3 because it keeps repeating. But if we're just rounding to 2 decimal places, we can leave it as 0.83. And if you're ever not sure about the rounding, just let me know. I can kind of clarify that for you. I know we left it off here, so I'm going to make up the rule that we're going to go to 2 decimal places. All right, that takes us through the notes that we need to get through. So when I see you guys again on Friday, we will be working on GCA 2, WebAssign 1, and Homework 1. We're just going to spend the day getting caught up on assignments. So bring your notes filled in with you so that you can use them to help you with homework, with GCA number 2 and homework number 1.